My girlfriend said, I need a pros list. I replied, I am completely done. Then I packed a bag, moved out, put everything in writing, canceled joint plans, and I just smiled because my new girlfriend does not need a list to know I am enough. Original post, I am 30. My ex-girlfriend, Jenna, is 28. We were together a little over 3 years, no kids. We shared a one-bedroom apartment in a medium-sized city. The lease was in both our names. I work as a systems analyst. She works in HR for a tech company. Our life looked normal from the outside. Shared rent, shared groceries, Sunday laundry, dinners with her parents once a month. We were not perfect, but we did not scream or throw things. Most fights were about small stuff. Dishes, schedules. Her scrolling in bed with the brightness on high. We had started to talk about next steps. Nothing formal, just casual lines. If we buy a place one day. If we have kids, I do not want 3 under 5. That kind of talk. The first odd thing was a yellow legal pad on the coffee table. It was a Tuesday night. I got home late from work. She was in the shower. Her bag was on the floor, laptop half out. The legal pad was open. On the top line it said, pros/cons me plus Ryan. My name is Ryan. Under pros she had written things like kind, stable, good with kids, helps with chores. Under cons she had written not very exciting, not ambitious enough, maybe not a match long-term and feels like roommate sometimes. There were empty lines on both sides. It looked like she had stopped mid-thought. I stood there with my keys still in my hand. My chest went cold and then very calm. We had never talked about taking stock like this. We had never said we were at some breaking point, but she was sitting at our coffee table rating me like a new hire. Water shut off in the bathroom. I closed the pad gently and sat on the edge of the couch. She came out in a towel, saw me, and froze for half a second. Her eyes flicked to the pad, then back to my face. Hey, she said, you are home early. I did not mention the pad. I just said I was tired and might go to bed early. Later, while she watched a show with headphones on, I lay in the dark and stared at the ceiling. I thought about being an item on a list, something to be weighed against an invisible alternative. At midnight, when she fell asleep, I got up quietly, went to my desk in the corner, opened a fresh page in my own notebook and wrote 2 words at the top, pros/cons. On the next line, I wrote 1 word, done. I closed the notebook and put it in my backpack. That was my first action. Update 1, she brought up the list 3 nights later. We were eating takeout on the couch. She paused the show and muted the TV. I want to talk about something, she said. My therapist suggested it. I knew what was coming, but I kept my face blank. I have been feeling unsure, she said. About us, about the future. My therapist said it might help to make a pros and cons list. To get clarity, I started one the other day. She watched my face carefully, waiting for me to explode or beg. I saw it, I said. My voice stayed even. It was on the table. Color drained from her cheeks. You read it, she said. You left it open in the middle of the living room, I said. It had my name at the top. I did not need detective skills. She put the food down. This is why I did not tell you yet, she said. You always take things so personal. It is just a tool, a way to check if we are still aligned. You are making a list to decide if I am worth staying with, I said. That is personal. She rolled her eyes, then caught herself. Ryan, come on, she said. Do you want me to blindly stay in a relationship if I have doubts, or be an adult and examine them? I want you to talk to me, I said, not to a piece of paper, she sighed. My therapist told me to ask for space, she said. She said I should ask you to spend a few nights at your brother's so I can think and finish the list without you hovering. You want me to leave our home so you can write down reasons to maybe dump me, I said. Not dump you, she said quickly. Evaluate. I might realize the pros outweigh the cons. This could be good for us. Something in me clicked into place right then. A quiet, cold click. How long? I asked. A week, she said, just so I can get my head straight. Please do not make this harder. I looked at her for a long moment, then I nodded once. Okay, I said, I will go to my brother's for a week. Relief flashed over her face. Thank you, she said. I knew you would understand. This shows you care. I did not answer. I got up, went to the bedroom, and pulled out a duffel bag. I packed work clothes, a few t-shirts, my laptop, my toothbrush. Before I left, I took my notebook from my backpack and slid it under the edge of the couch cushion where I usually sat. On the front page, my one word sat alone. Done. At my brother's place, on his lumpy guest mattress, I lay awake thinking. I did not rage, I did not stalk her socials. I thought about what it meant that she needed to write "not exciting" under my name before she could decide if I was loyal enough or kind enough. By day 3, my decision felt clear. I did not want to be someone's homework assignment. On the 5th night, I drove back to the apartment unannounced. I let myself in with my key. She was at the table, pen in hand, legal pad in front of her. She looked up, startled. "I thought we said a week," she said. "We did," I said. "I am here to give you my list." Update 2, I walked to the couch, reached under the cushion, and pulled out my notebook. I sat opposite her and opened it to the first page. I turned it around and slid it across the table. She frowned and read the single word. "Done." "That is not funny," she said. "It is not a joke," I said. "You asked for space to decide if I made the cut. I used that space to decide I am not interested in being graded." She shook her head. "You are overreacting," she said. "It is just a list. It is not like I cheated." "This is not about cheating," I said. "This is about respect. If after 3 years you need to write down good with kids and feels like roommate to figure out if you love me, then we are not in the same place." She gripped the pen. "My therapist said this can be healthy," she said. "It is better than staying by default." "I agree," I said. "Which is why I am not staying by default anymore." Her eyes filled. "So you are ending it," she said, "just like that, because I did one exercise for mental health." "No," I said, "because you told me to leave my own home so you could decide if I was an asset or a liability. Because you told your parents I was being supportive while you worked through doubts, like I was part of a plan I did not know about." Her face changed at that. "How do you know what I told my parents?" she asked. "Your mom called my brother," I said. "She told him she was proud of me for giving you space to make such a big decision. She said if he passes the list, they will probably get engaged next year." She winced. "She should not have called him," she said. "But see, this could have led to something good. I just needed to be sure." "I am sure now," I said, "that I want out." She stood up fast. The chair scraped. "You are throwing away our future because my mom overshared and I made a list my therapist suggested," she said. "Do you know how insane that sounds?" I stayed seated. "No," I said. "I am choosing a future where I am not waiting for someone to finish comparing me to an imaginary man who is more ambitious and more exciting." Her eyes went hard. "Fine," she said. "If you are serious, then we have to talk about the lease, the furniture, the ring money, all of it." "We will," I said. "Not tonight. Tonight I am going back to my brother's. Tomorrow I will email you a simple plan. We can do this like adults." "Adults do not run away," she snapped. "Adults do not turn their partners into pros and cons homework without including them," I said. She crossed her arms and looked at the notebook again. "You are really done," she said. "I am," I said. I left. The door clicked shut behind me. In the hallway, my hands shook for a second, then they went still. The next day, I sent her an email. "I will move my name off the lease if you want to stay and can qualify on your own. If not, we can both move at the end of the term. We will split the deposit. We each keep what we brought in. Shared purchases will be negotiated in writing. Please keep all further communication in email." Within hours, she replied with 3 paragraphs about feeling blindsided and emotionally abused by your sudden withdrawal. She said her therapist wanted to arrange a joint session so I could understand my attachment issues. I wrote back one line. "No joint sessions, the relationship is over. We can discuss logistics only." She then texted my brother, my mother, and 2 mutual friends, telling them I had abandoned her during a vulnerable exercise. Screenshots started to come in from friends who thought I should see. I did not blast my side on social media. Instead, I sent those friends a short message. She made a pros and cons list to decide if I was worth staying with and asked me to leave the apartment so she could finish it. I made my own list. It said done. That is the story. Some of them said they understood, some said nothing. That was fine. I also booked a consult with a lawyer. Not for drama, for clarity. 90 minutes. He confirmed what I already suspected. You are both on the lease, he said. No kids, no marriage, no shared assets beyond furniture. As long as you document agreements by email and do not just vanish, you are on solid ground. Her parents have been calling, I said. Her mom left a voicemail saying I owe it to her to do couples therapy and reconsider. He shrugged. You do not owe that, he said. If the calls keep coming, you can tell them any further contact goes through email and is about property only. If they harass you, we can talk about next steps. So that became my plan. Short emails, no calls, screenshots of any wild messages dropped in a folder labeled in case. Update 3, the next months were messy in small ways. Jenna tried several angles. First, guilt. Long emails about how I had given up right before the breakthrough and how her therapist said my reaction showed avoidant patterns. She wrote, "Real love is staying while someone works on their list, not running at the first sign of doubt." I answered only when logistics were inside the same message. Then came anger. She posted a vague caption on Instagram about men who cannot handle introspection and partners who punish you for doing the emotional labor. A mutual friend told me she cried at a group dinner, saying I had emotionally punished her for going to therapy. Again, I did not respond in public. I just saved screenshots. Her parents called my mom. My mom is old school and believes in working things out. She asked to hear my side. I told her plainly about the list, the ask him to leave for a week so I can finish it advice. When I finished, my mom was quiet. She really needed a list to know if you were good enough, she asked. Yes, I said. Then you did the right thing walking, she said. That closed that door. 3 months after the breakup, Jenna emailed me again. Subject, can we talk in person? She wrote that she had seen how empty life is without you and that her therapist thought we should have at least one face-to-face conversation to see if there was a path back. She asked if we could meet at our old apartment and start fresh. I read it twice, then wrote back. No, if you need closure, we can meet once in a public place for 30 minutes. No talk about getting back together, no therapist, no parents. If you agree, I will suggest a cafe. She agreed. We met at a quiet coffee shop on a Sunday afternoon. I got there early, sat where the staff could see the whole room. She came in right on time. She looked tired, less put together than before, no curated outfit, just jeans and a hoodie. Hi, she said, hovering by the table. Hi, I said. She sat. We both wrapped our hands around warm mugs. I have been doing a lot of work, she said. On myself, on my patterns. My therapist helped me see how I turn people into projects. I am sorry for making you into one. I appreciate you saying that, I said. I never meant to hurt you, she said. The list was supposed to help me see how good I had it. I was talking about marriage, kids, real commitment. I was scared. That is why I needed structure. I get that, I said. But from my side, it looked like this. The person I loved needed to write down pros and cons about me like I was a phone plan. I have no interest in being loved on a spreadsheet. She flinched a little. That is harsh, she said. It is accurate, I said. You told my brother I was being supportive while you decided if I made the cut. You did not ask if I wanted to be in that process. You assumed I would wait patiently on the shelf. She wiped her eyes. I was hoping you would fight for me, she said. My therapist said sometimes a crisis can show you who is really in it. I was in it, I said, right up until you told me to get out of my own home so you could finish a list. That was my crisis, and it showed me something too, she sniffed. Is there really no way back, she asked. No chance we could start over without the list? No, I said. My tone stayed calm. I want a partner who knows my value without needing a ranking system. I will not spend years waiting for the next list when things get hard. Tears slid down her cheeks. My parents say I ruined the best thing I ever had, she said. They might be right, I said, but it is not my job to fix that for you. We finished our drinks quietly. When the half hour was up, I stood. I hope therapy helps, I said. I hope you find what you are looking for. It will not be me. She looked at me like she wanted to reach out, then let her hands fall back to her lap. I am sorry, she said again. I believe you, I said. I am still done. I walked out into the cold air. It felt like a door had closed behind my ribs. Final update, it has been a year since that cafe. The practical stuff settled, the lease ended. We both moved out. I found a small place closer to work. Simple, quiet, my name alone on the paperwork, my furniture, my plates, no pros and cons pad on the table. I started dating again slowly. No rush, no grand declarations. After a while, I met someone through a friend. Her name is Lee. She is a nurse. On our fourth date, she said, "I do not make lists about people. I either feel safe with them or I do not." I laughed a little too hard. Then I told her why. She listened. She did not make Jenna into a villain. She just said, "You were right to walk. You are not a product. You are a person." We have been together 8 months now. We talk through things in real time. When she is stressed, she says, "I am maxed out." "Can we talk later?" "Not. I need you out of the house so I can decide if you are worth it." Every now and then, I hear bits about Jenna through mutuals. She is still in therapy. She tried dating again, but it keeps crashing when she starts evaluating people. One guy apparently told her, "I am not going to be another name on your pad," and left in the middle of dinner. Her job is fine. She is not ruined, just struggling with the same patterns. I do not cheer at that. I do not ache either. Mostly, I feel distant. Like I am watching a show I used to be in and now just see as background noise. My brother jokes that my greatest act of revenge was being boring. No big fight, no dramatic gesture, just one word on a page and a steady walk toward the door. He is not wrong. The legal pad moment still comes to mind sometimes. I picture her hunched over the table, pen hovering, deciding if kind balances, not exciting. That version of me would have waited to see if I passed. The version of me now does not wait to be scored. I still have the notebook with "done" written on the first page. It sits in a drawer with old receipts and spare keys. I do not open it often. When I do not feel anger or victory, just a quiet kind of relief. She once needed a list to decide if I was enough. I needed one word to decide I was.